I request Professor Lakshmanan from Madras Institute of Development Studies and the Vice President of CPDR to address you. Professor Lakshmanan, please.
Jai Bhim, Mr. President and friends. I am very happy to be here and also associated with the CPDR Tamil Nadu, and my friends Gopal and Sumar and Dimman. They have done extremely hard work in terms of materializing this meeting, and also my colleague Manisa and also Rasida. And we are three are from here from Jawaharlal Nehru University. We educated from Jawaharlal Nehru University, where the university produces national for us. For somebody else, it is anti-national. Okay, if they prefer to call us anti-national, then it is. Yeah. So I won't take much time because I don't need 35 minutes or so. But anyway, I'll speak. I want to make a few observations, draw your attention in terms of understanding the current situation across the country and what are the aspects which are contributed to this. Because until we have to understand the root cause of this problem, and we may not able to understand because it's not a suddenly happened overnight. It's all a very well designed and planned manner. As Mr. Gopal said, the elites are very insensitive towards the fellow human and some rights and fellow humans suffering. But they are not insensitive. They are more sensitive in terms of make them more suffering. I flag up 4 or 5 historic landmarks in the history since 1990, because these landmarks are extensively contributed in terms of what we are today facing. The first landmark is introduction of Mandal Commission recommendation. The second landmark is demolition of Babur Masjid in 1992. And third landmark is introduction of economic reform, they call it, but I call it as a deregularization of Indian economy. Third. And fourth is introduction of a 73rd and 74th amendment in the Indian Constitution, and that is the implementation. And fifth, which is last but not least, that is Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's centenary celebration 1990. These 5 landmarks as supposed to be supposed to bring the people of India and also particularly Tamil Nadu to democratize the people and also more egalitarian and also address to the social justice and so on and so forth. Whether these landmarks are done in a similar, except demolition of Babur Masjid, even that also we should have sensitive enough to come together, fight the reactionary forces, the way the reactionary forces to be fighted out. But we have not fight it out, but rather we have brought them to the center of power and given the seats of power to rule and ruin our life. And that is where this landmark, 5 landmarks, is extensively and significantly contributed to our understanding our political thinking. And also another important, if you take it, it is the introduction of the information technology. And so these are the landmark which is extensively conscientized positively or negatively our political discourse, understanding and our life. And one of the major challenge comes from in this landmark was, as I said, demolition of Babur Masjid, and which is a challenge to the secularism, which is what I call as a constitutional secularism, but my teacher used to call Indian secularism. Because we thought that Indian secularism means secularism is only for concern about the conflict or dominance between two interreligious or interreligious group, and we left out the social justice for the oppressed and the subordinated social group. It is not. The Indian secularism or a constitutional secularism is meant to address simultaneously inter-religious dominance and intra-religious dominance. And also it is not simply religion is separation from the state or religion is separation from the politics, but precisely religion has to intervene the dominance of the religious or dominance of the inter-religious dominance and the intra-religious dominance exist in our milieu. But our understanding of the secularism will be talked and it will be preached. Generally we limited ourselves to the inter-religious dominance, particularly the conflict between Hindu, Muslim and Christian. But it is not so. Indian constitution embodied and encompasses itself. It is both in terms of addressing inter-religious and intra-religious dominance. How it is intra-religious dominance? That is what intra-religious dominance, the premises itself, where we have Article 70, abolition of untouchability, fundamental rights and protection of minority and so on and so forth. People now call it as Indian secularism is add-on in 1977 42nd Amendment. No. The framers of the Indian Constitution, the fathers of the Indian Constitution, aware of that, if they introduce this secularism in the concept as itself, it may be misleading. Therefore, it is embodied itself in the original Constitution itself and encompasses itself in the original Constitution. Therefore, they are not specifically mentioned about the secularism as such. But today it's become a major challenge in terms of our democracy, in terms of our in terms of secularism and democracy and social justice. My friends asked me to focus on Tamil Nadu. So I want to focus on Tamil Nadu specifically. Tamil Nadu is a state where there is a completely outside Tamil Nadu, people think that Tamil Nadu has a very great revolution or a reform has taken place and things are all fine and the honey and milk are flooding into the street. That is the impression which they had in the outside Tamil Nadu. But of course, if you compare the Tamil Nadu with other state in terms of development indicators, literacy, mortality rate, infrastructure and education and so on and so forth, certainly Tamil Nadu stands better than other state, particularly Kerala or other developed state in the country. But if you engage with inter-social group within Tamil Nadu, land and landless, salaried and salaryless, and Dalit and non-Dalit, SC/ST and non-SC/ST, and Muslims and non-Muslim, and minority and non-minority, then you will find a very painful pictures and painful picture in terms of the education, even tribal, which recently I conducted 2 years survey of Tamil Nadu, entire Tamil Nadu tribal situation, socio-economic condition. And you know what is tribal have got in this process of the deregularized economy? They got only a DDH. Even there is no road or a proper path to walk to their hamlet, but you have a DDH. Whether a census or a ration card or a revenue officer goes to the village or not, but our satellite DDH and people have went and they have spending per month 200 rupees per month, and they don't have a proper drinking water, they don't have any road facility, and children has to walk 5 kilometers to attend learn ABC or alphabet. This is a status of highly efficient, highly administrated and efficient state of Tamil Nadu. And how it is possible? Because Tamil Nadu is a state where it is not a rule of law is governed, it is a rule of culture is governed in this part of the world, in this part of the country. What is the rule of law and what is the rule of culture? Because you all know the recent honor killing or dishonor killing, whatever it may be, it's a continuously, it's a barbarity is exposed across the state. But the state is become a mute spectator. And also in the opposition party, they all, if you united in one context, it is only this kind of barbarity. They are united and completely mute silent. Why this mute silent? That is the instead of rule of law, it is a rule of culture is governed this country. And more than that, people have been systematically depoliticized. What I call is castigated. People have been castigated politically. And their critical faculty has been systematically designed and erased from their critical memory. And people are not allowed to question. People are not allowed to learn the question. And that is why they systematically both ruling and opposition. They systematically ruin the people's consciousness, ruin the people's critical faculty. And therefore, this is a high time to the forum like this is required. And further, how they have been ruined the critical faculty? Because of populism. Who asked for a laptop? Who asked for a free rice? If any Tamil Nadu has the highest population travel day and night, you want looking for a job from Arakonam to Chennai, from Chengalpattu to Chennai, from even Madurai to Chennai, and across the state people are traveling day and day out. And poor people are traveling, and where they go and attend their natural calls. Certainly they have to, because they are not driving Maruti or Audi or anything, because they have to use public conveyance wherever the bus transport stop. You know how much they have to pay? 5 rupees. They have to pay 5 rupees for a public conveyance, but you get a free rice. Who asked for any corner of this state? People, one person, the working class came and demanded the state provide us a free rice? No. What people are demanding? Provide us a quality drinking water, provide us a quality employment, provide us a quality education and our children. But what is the quality of education we get? If you visit any of the tribal villages across the Tamil Nadu, you know what is the status. Why go far away? Visit in Chennai, Rayapuram Welfare Hostel, Chaidapate Welfare Hostel, Nandanam Welfare Hostel. See what is the condition of the people. Is it a democracy? Is it a democracy? What is required in these places? These places, decent living, respect to the human being, the person who studied. You know what is the analogy which I draw? The snipper dog in the state, the state spends 250 rupees per day. 250 rupees per day snipper dog. For a welfare hostel student, they are spending 25 rupees to 30 rupees per day. And the criminal in the jail, they get a ration for 200 rupees or 250 rupees per day. It depends upon the class in which they are jailed, the prison. But the welfare hostel student get 30 rupees, 40 rupees, even if they are preparing for a PhD, MA, MPhil, MSc. And these are citizens, future citizen and future pillar of this democracy. This is the Tamil Nadu, this is the India. That is why this is a forum which requires. Social justice cannot be and should not be confined to the caste-based reservation centric. Social justice is a much more behind the exclusive, behind many other encompasses human right, fundamental rights. But it is ashamed of this space, the social justice being remain and confined to only a caste-based reservation, which is very shameful. We need to address in a democratic forum like this. And finally, I said that there is a honor killing and also there is a complete atrocity, because Dalit have been this state has been completely brutalized, dehumanized, and completely there is no one care about Dalit, including the Dalit party, Dalit movement itself, because they are also share in the universe. I will give because 2013 after Ilavasan was killed, or Ilavasan was dead in an accident in a railway, the quote unquote allegedly suicide. As academics, as a researcher, what I can do, because I learned my academics not because of mere reading a theory, but I learn my academics, I learn my research by activism. So as academic, how can I respond to this caste violence, Dalit atrocities on Dalit? So I collected, since 1956, I collected all judicial inquiry commission. 13 inquiry commission report I have been collected. And also I sent to the different academics across the country, asked them to review the terms of reference, the findings and the observation and recommendations. 13 judicial commission since 1956. None of the commission had a Dalit as a member, let alone Dalit leading this commission. None of the commission has recommended punish one culprit, one criminal for a cause for the killing of lakhs and thousands and thousands of Dalit. From Kilvenmani to Dharmaburi, today is Shankar. And what is this state all about? Because 13 judicial commission, none of the commission has recommended or punished any single culprit. But whereas I also compare with the other state, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh had only one commission in the history. Maharashtra had one commission, Kundevar Commission, which is 1997 Ramabai killing. And the commission was headed by sitting judge by a Brahmin, because I need to pronounce all this social identity, because this place has been taken for granted. Anti-Brahmanism is completely qualitatively different from the anti-caste politics. What is happening in Tamil Nadu is anti-Brahmin politics, not anti-caste politics. What is required in Tamil Nadu is anti-caste politics, not anti-Brahmin politics. So, Kundevar Commission in Maharashtra, the highest police officer has been punished and jailed. But in Tamil Nadu, not even single fellow is jailed or even recommended for the punishment. This commission, judicial commission, rather it is become a jadi or caste commissions. And you know what happened, Paramakudi judicial commission, they have appreciated the killing of 10 Dalit in the Paramakudi. If the Paramakudi killing has been punished, Dharmaburi violence could have been avoided. If Dharmaburi violence, the fellow who are responsible Dharmaburi violence, then Ilavarasan life could have been saved. If Ilavarasan death is, those who were abatement of the Ilavarasan death, if they have punished, then we would have not have a Perumal Murugan. If Perumal Murugan, whoever caused Perumal Murugan's mental agony, if they have been punished, then we should not have a Gogol Raj. If Gogol Raj murder has been put on jail on time, and we should not have lost Vishnu Priya. If Vishnu Priya, the alleged suicide has been punished, and we should not have a Sangrapuram. The Dalit temple car been burned. And if Dalit temple car burned, the culprit and accused have been punished, today we should not have a Sankar. We should not have sacrificed the Sankar. Who are this? And the civil society in Tamil Nadu is become completely impotent. I use the word impotent. And they mere spectator, and they become a casteist. The Brahminical or casteist. Brahminical is not merely a Brahmin alone. It is embedded. That is what Dr. Bhimram Ambedkar used to tell. If the caste system is practiced only by the Brahmin, the caste could have been abolished, annihilated long back. Who are the foot soldier of the Brahminism? Who are the vanguard of the casteism? Please understand, unless until we diagnose ourselves, self-respect, social justice cannot be merely restricted to a caste-centric reservation alone. Please go behind, and it has a larger spectrum of issues to be addressed. Therefore, today, why Sangh Parivar and BJP was scary? Final point. Why Sangh Parivar and this BJP and RSS was scary? Because in the history first time, Marxium and Ambedkarium coming, marrying together. Jai Bhim and Lal Salam coming together, which is thundering. You who know, Rohit Vimala's the final word Jai Bhim, and also Kanhaiya Kumar's Lal Salam and Jai Bhim, both are marrying together, which is a very, very challenging for the Hindutva forces and reactionary forces. Therefore, it is a right time for us to understand, to diagnose, and also to critically engage the politics of Tamil Nadu and politics of state. Thank you very much. If any pertinent question, I am happy to answer. Thank you very much.